A strange thing happens when people start making more money. At first, they feel excited. Finally, life is getting better. Maybe they get their first real salary. Maybe they get promoted. Maybe their business starts growing. And suddenly, things they once considered expensive no longer feel that expensive anymore. So they upgrade. A slightly better phone. A nicer apartment. Better clothes. More food deliveries. More subscriptions. More convenience. Nothing crazy. Just small improvements. And honestly, it feels deserved. After all, what's the point of working hard if your life never improves? But then something weird happens. A few months later, they're earning more money than ever before, and somehow still feel broke. Their income doubled, but their stress stayed the same. And this is where most people get trapped. Not by low income, but by something much more dangerous. The lifestyle upgrade trap. And the scary part is, almost nobody notices it happening. Think about this. When you were younger, certain things felt luxurious. Buying coffee outside every day felt expensive. Ordering food regularly felt unnecessary. Paying for multiple subscriptions sounded ridiculous. But over time, those things slowly became normal. Not because you truly needed them, but because your brain adapted to them. And this is one of the most important psychological ideas about money. Human beings adapt incredibly fast, especially to comfort. The first time you upgrade your lifestyle, it feels exciting, but your brain quickly turns that excitement into a baseline. What once felt special now feels ordinary. And once something feels ordinary, you stop appreciating it. You simply expect it. That's where the trap begins. Imagine someone named Alex. At 22 years old, Alex gets his first job. He earns enough to cover his basic needs. At this point, small pleasures feel meaningful. A cheap dinner with friends feels exciting. Buying one new pair of shoes feels rewarding. Saving even a little money feels like progress. But then Alex gets a raise. Now he earns more. So naturally, his lifestyle upgrades too. He moves into a nicer apartment. He upgrades his phone. He starts using delivery apps more often. He buys better clothes because appearance matters now. Again, none of this feels irresponsible. In fact, most people around him are doing the exact same thing. And that's what makes this trap so dangerous. It feels normal. Completely normal. That's why people rarely question it. Now here's the interesting part. At first, these upgrades genuinely improve happiness. A better environment can improve your mood. More convenience can reduce stress. But only temporarily. Because your brain adjusts faster than you think. Psychologists sometimes call this hedonic adaptation. But the idea is simple. Whatever improves your life today eventually becomes your new normal. Your brain resets its expectations. And once that happens, you no longer feel richer. You just feel average again. This is why people can go from earning $1,000 a month to $10,000 a month and still complain about money. Because expenses rise quietly alongside income. Not all at once. Little by little. Almost invisibly. The dangerous part is that lifestyle upgrades rarely feel emotional. They feel logical. That's what tricks people. Nobody says, "I want to destroy my future wealth." Instead they say, "I deserve a better car. I work too hard to live cheaply. This is an investment in myself. Everyone else has this." And sometimes those things are true. But the brain is very good at turning wants into needs. Very good. The moment you repeat something long enough, your brain starts protecting it. Now your upgraded lifestyle no longer feels optional. It feels necessary. And once something feels necessary, removing it feels painful. This changes everything. Because now your future income is already spoken for, before you even earn it. This is why some people become trapped no matter how much they earn. Every time income increases, their lifestyle expands to consume it, like a balloon filling with air. The money comes in, and immediately flows back out, and eventually, they build a life that becomes incredibly expensive to maintain. A bigger apartment, higher monthly payments, more subscriptions, more dining out, more comfort, more expectations, until one day, they realize they're running faster than ever, but financially going nowhere. And here's something most people don't realize. Lifestyle inflation doesn't just affect money. It affects freedom. Because the more expensive your lifestyle becomes, the less flexibility you have. Think about two people. One person earns $3,000 a month and spends $2,000. The other earns $8,000 a month and spends $7,800. Who is actually more free? Most people instinctively point to the higher earner. But the truth is, the first person has more breathing room, more flexibility, more control. Because freedom is not just about income. It's about the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is where freedom lives. This is why some wealthy-looking people are secretly stressed all the time. From the outside, their life looks impressive. Nice car, nice vacations, expensive lifestyle. But internally, they're trapped. Because their lifestyle has become a machine that constantly demands more money. And once your life requires a certain income level to survive, you lose options. You can't easily quit your job. You can't take risks. You can't slow down. You can't breathe. Your lifestyle owns you, not the other way around. Now, this doesn't mean enjoying money is bad. That's not the lesson. Money should improve your life. The problem is unconscious upgrading. Upgrading without intention. Most people never stop to ask, will this purchase improve my life long term? They only ask, can I afford it right now? And those are two completely different questions. Because being able to buy something doesn't mean it's helping your future. Here's a simple example. Imagine getting a salary increase of $1,000 per month. Most people immediately absorb that money into lifestyle upgrades. A slightly better house, a car payment, more shopping, more convenience. So after a few months, that extra $1,000 disappears emotionally. Life feels normal again. But imagine a different approach. Instead of upgrading everything, you upgrade selectively. Maybe you use part of that money to genuinely improve your quality of life. But the rest, you invest it, save it, build assets with it. Now your higher income starts creating future freedom instead of temporary comfort. That's the difference. The hardest part about this trap is social pressure. Because modern life constantly pushes upgrades. Social media especially. Everywhere you look, people appear to be leveling up. Better vacations, better apartments, better clothes, better restaurants. And slowly your brain starts comparing. Even if you don't want to, you start feeling behind. This creates something dangerous. Artificial needs. Things you never cared about suddenly feel important. Because everyone else seems to have them. And the brain hates feeling excluded. So it pushes you to spend in order to feel socially safe. Again, this happens quietly, without you realizing it. This is why many people confuse wealth with appearance. But real wealth is often invisible. A person driving an expensive car may actually be drowning in debt. Meanwhile, someone living a simple life may quietly own investments, savings, and freedom. The difference is psychological. One person spends money to signal success. The other uses money to build security. And over decades, those decisions compound massively. Here's another thing nobody talks about. Every lifestyle upgrade has hidden costs. Not just the purchase price. Maintenance costs. Emotional expectations. Future obligations. A more expensive apartment doesn't just cost more rent. It increases your standards. Now smaller places feel uncomfortable. A luxury car doesn't just cost the monthly payment. It changes what feels normal to drive. And once your standards rise, your happiness becomes more expensive. That's the real danger. The brain is fascinating this way. It quickly adapts upward, but struggles to adapt downward. Meaning once you upgrade your life, going backwards feels painful, even if it's financially smart. That's why people stay trapped in jobs they hate. Their lifestyle became too expensive to step away from. So they keep running, keep working, keep upgrading, hoping the next increase in income will finally make them feel secure. But the feeling never fully arrives, because security doesn't come from spending more. It comes from needing less. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts in wealth building. Richness is not about how much money passes through your hands. It's about how much control you have over your life. And control comes from margin, financial breathing room, the ability to say no, the ability to pause, the ability to make decisions without panic. That's real wealth. Now, there's an important question. If lifestyle upgrades feel so natural, how do you avoid the trap without becoming miserable? The answer is not extreme frugality. You don't need to live like a robot. The goal is intentional upgrades, not automatic ones. Before upgrading something, ask yourself, will this still matter to me in 1 year? That question alone filters out so many emotional purchases, because many upgrades only feel exciting temporarily. Your brain confuses novelty with happiness, but novelty fades quickly. Another powerful strategy is this: delay upgrades. When your income increases, don't immediately expand your lifestyle. Wait. Even 6 months can change your perspective completely, because emotional excitement fades with time. And once the emotional rush disappears, you can think clearly. This single habit can save people thousands of dollars every year. Also, learn to enjoy invisible wealth. This is difficult at first, because invisible wealth doesn't impress people online. Nobody sees your investments. Nobody compliments your savings account. Nobody notices your financial discipline. But invisible wealth creates visible freedom later. And that trade is worth it. Think of money like a worker. Every dollar you keep and invest can eventually start working for you. But every dollar immediately consumed by lifestyle inflation stops there. It never gets the chance to grow. That's why small decisions matter so much. Not because one coffee destroys your future, but because repeated upgrades slowly reshape your entire financial life. And this is where the trap becomes truly dangerous. Most people don't realize they're trapped until years later. They wake up one day exhausted, making decent money, but still feeling financially fragile, still stressed, still dependent on the next paycheck. And they wonder, how am I earning this much and still feeling stuck? The answer is usually hidden in their lifestyle, not their salary. At the end of the day, the lifestyle upgrade trap is really about one thing: confusing comfort with progress. Comfort feels good, but comfort alone doesn't create freedom. Sometimes it quietly delays it. Real financial progress often looks boring in the beginning. Saving money, investing consistently, avoiding unnecessary upgrades, living slightly below your means. None of that looks exciting. But over time, it creates something powerful: options. And options change everything. Because when your lifestyle stays under control, your money starts building freedom instead of pressure. And eventually, you reach a point where work becomes a choice instead of survival. That's the goal most people are actually chasing. Not luxury, freedom. And ironically, the people who achieve that freedom are usually the ones who didn't feel the need to constantly upgrade every part of their life, because they understood something most people miss. A bigger lifestyle does not automatically create a better life. Sometimes, it just creates a more expensive one.